This is Boomer Life on CL 650.
Welcome back. Thanks for listening. This is Boomer Life on CL 650, and we're talking about the journey of dementia. What services are available to you and your family once you receive a diagnosis of Alzheimer's or dementia. And we've heard firsthand from our special guest today, David Brown, both a board member and an Alzheimer's patient. The CEO of the Alzheimer's Society is Maria Howard, and she's with us for the entire show. But now we get to switch hats a little bit. We're going to talk about some of the fun activities and fundraising for the Society. Marion Lowry now joins us in the studio. Welcome, Marion.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Excellent. I think you have a great story. I can't wait to talk to you. When we were speaking with Maria at the top of the show, Maria mentioned how vitally important and how integral it is to have a lot of people like you on board to give your time, your sweat, your energy, your passion, and to help raise money for the cause. And I understand that you have a personal connection to Alzheimer's. So maybe can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what that connection is?
Well, in 2003, my mother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. There'd been some episodes for a number of years preceding this, but it became evident that year that she needed care and that this was the reason. And I'm the eldest of 8 children, and 3 of us live out of the province. My mother and 5 of those siblings live in Winnipeg. And to their credit, these siblings were amazing at coming together, making the decisions, agreeing on what needed to be done and when and how. And so for me, who lived thousands of miles away, it was a period of time, 5 years, between the diagnosis and 4 years actually, between the diagnosis and her death in 2007, when it would be phone calls first to her, but then when she couldn't speak any longer, it would be calls to the other family and supporting them at a distance. But I always felt really quite respectful of what they were doing, but inadequate as far as my contribution to that.
You didn't feel any great pressure, like responsibility to help look after? It sounds like the family came collectively together to help.
Oh, they certainly did. Yeah, and they really did. But I had a job. I had my own family here on the West Coast. I went twice a year to visit her and see them, of course. But on a day-to-day basis, this is not really what's needed for an Alzheimer patient, is twice-a-year visits. So when in 2010, in the fall, I saw an ad in the Vancouver Sun, and it was a quarter-page ad, picture of this team at the top of Mount Kilimanjaro, and they're thanking, it was the ASBC, the Alzheimer's Society of BC, thanking the previous year's team for the fundraising they had done, and advertising for members of the next year's team. And it caught my eye, obviously. Alzheimer word does when you've got a connection. And I had had a modest history with some fundraising and some physical adventures, challenges. My 2 children and I had participated in charity runs for the Cancer Society a number of times. And I had a 3rd child who was born with a leukemia, and she would have been 16 in, 2001. And so I decided that year that I was going to train with the Leukemia Foundation and collect donations, and I would do this half marathon, having not really been a runner.
A runner?
Yeah. And, I love the training. I like the challenge. I'm a goal-oriented kind of person. And I like the connection to the other people that I trained with. And then, through those miles, those kilometers, I could sort of see her spirit urging me up that hill. And so sort of there's that spiritual component that I was somewhat familiar with. And so when I expressed some interest to the Alzheimer's Society about getting on board with the Ascent team, somebody actually asked me, do you think this will be a spiritual experience? I said, well, how can you predict these things anyway? I mean, I don't know that. But I guess, if you're
How
in
could
a,
it not be
I
in
see.
one way or another, really?
It could maybe just be a slog and nothing rewarding you. But
A walk in the park, according to Sandy Riley, but we'll talk about that later.
right.
So how long from when you saw that ad looking for participants or with the ad of the picture of the group on top of Mount Kilimanjaro, how long from the time you saw that ad to the time you actually made the phone call and asked a few questions about it?
Yeah, I cut it out. I put it by my computer. I probably left it there till maybe early December. So let's say it was a month. And then I thought, okay, Christmas is coming. I'm going to be overeating. I'm going to be doing zero physical activity. I'm going to at least call and find out what's involved in this. So just gave my name and I said, phone me in mid-January. I want to be on your list, but I'm really not sure if I'll be able to do this.
And I need to think about it a little bit.
And at my age and what's involved and the financial contribution and so on.
Sure.
So they did. They kept my name and they
course they
called
did.
me.
They're good at that. Yes.
They said, come on in, we'd like to meet you. So I went down in late January and met Sandy Riley, who's a volunteer extraordinaire. She's herself a very accomplished athlete and is passionate about the Alzheimer fundraising and involvement awareness, and the coordinator of the program at the time. And I think mostly what they wanted to know was had I ever done anything physical before of any nature, and perhaps my ability to do the fundraising. And that was the most nerve-wracking part. I didn't actually think I would be able. The commitment was $10,000 for that.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Let's paint the picture here with the. Have you got all the details on the
Well,
Ascent for Alzheimer's? This is not a walk in the park. This is a major trip to Africa's tallest peak,
19,340 feet. I can say exactly how many.
We walked the steps, right? It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, and we're always inspired and amazed that people come forward, volunteers come forward, raise this money themselves,
Right.
go halfway around the world and climb this mountain because often, like this story, they want to honor a family member and they want to support the cause.
Absolutely. And I find it interesting, too, because I think, oh, my gosh, climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, well, you might as well put me on Everest, right? But that participants find the most daunting task trying to raise the money.
Yes, really, of the two challenges, that one seemed to me personally more overwhelming. I thought if I could just put that amount on my credit card and get that training schedule, I'm with you. But
You did it. So you raised the
do.
money.
Mhm.
You climbed, you ticked the box, you have your picture taken on the top of Mount Kilimanjaro, and the Alzheimer's Society gets to benefit, and you've expressed a huge commitment to your mom, your family, yourself, all of that. But you didn't stop there, did you?
Well, no, there are many people who keep you involved in the Alzheimer's Society family, and thank heavens they do, because it's just pretty easy to go back and just start leading your life and think, good, I gave my best. And
That's right.
I've done it now.
So now what are you committed to now?
Well, my next endeavor will be to climb the Inca Trail. And so this is 4 years later, so I'm a little bit older. Most people I know who've been to Machu Picchu did it when they were 25 years old, and even those who were 35 years old did it on the train. But no, I'm going to climb it, and I'm signed on with a group that's a commercial group. They're a Canadian company with a fair history of ecological involvement themselves, G Adventures. So I don't suppose anyone else on my team will be doing this kind of fundraising, but I will. And therefore, I'm getting some help from the Alzheimer's Society through a group called Anything for Alzheimer's,
Yes.
one of the project areas.
Yes, Maria's actually spoken to us about that before. So, yeah, carry on.
So people just decide to be involved through whatever is their natural sort of thing they might be doing in their lives. In the spring, they might be hosting a garage sale.
Sure, that kids can have a lemonade stand, host a garage sale, whatever activity you choose to do. That's anything for Alzheimer's. You can raise your money, register with them, raise their money, and they reap the rewards as well as yourself. So when do you leave for the Inca Trail?
The trip goes from the 19th to the 29th of October.
Okay.
With 4 days in the middle of that. On the Inca Trail itself, it's 4 days of hiking, 3 days in tents. So pretty similar in a way to the Kilimanjaro challenge, was 5 days of hiking, 4 days sleeping in a tent. So in the cold, and with a team of people that you have only just gotten to know.
Yes.
So
strangers.
All of this it's a challenge in many ways, but I think the Alzheimer's Society chose the Kili trip, and then I'm choosing this one for reasons of the parallels that exist between that kind of endeavor and the disease of Alzheimer's itself, which is that when you get to altitude, some parts of the experience of being at high altitude are similar to that brain fog that occurs with a diagnosis of Alzheimer's.
It sort of mimics, you're a little bit confused at altitude, or you might have trouble making a decision, or and simple tasks that you don't know whether to sit down or eat your lunch or keep hiking, and
you have to give over to the idea that you've trained and now you're doing what you trained to do. So you've had some strategies and you're a bit of an automaton in a way. You're not fully in control of your own judgment, so you rely on the people around you, which is, I think, also what the Alzheimer's experience is somewhat about. Is having a team around you who support you and love you and want you to succeed. And so that part of it. But of course, the difference is, we get to go to Summit and then come back down again.
So you've got the Inca Trail event coming up in October, but you're doing another Alzheimer's event.
The Alzheimer's Society organizes the MKGG, it's called.
What does that stand for?
So you've got Mount Kilimanjaro Grouse
Grind. Oh my gosh.
Yes, and so that's kind of a fun event, which is modeled on the idea that 7 times the height, the elevation gain of the grind equals 1 ascent of Kilimanjaro. So you don't have to do it 7 times to equal that accomplishment. You could get 6 team members, and together you've accomplished that elevation gain. Or in some cases, I think some diehards, they go to the top and turn around, come back again.
Have you got team members? Are you signing your kids up to be on your team, or
They've
are you
going
to do this 7 times?
No, we won't. I will not be doing it 7 times. But yes, both my children have participated in this in the past.
Okay.
And family members and friends as well. They do it for their own reasons. For my son, this was his grandmother who died of Alzheimer's. A friend who participated wanted to do this physical challenge before he turned 60, and he was turning 60 the week after the MKGG, so he signed on. So yes, people do it for their own reasons, and yet for that other altruistic reason. And for me, that's what makes it important, is that you're not just doing it for a selfish reason. There's a reason to be out there in the world and doing it for a broader cause. And in so doing, you bring other people on board from an awareness point of view. Yeah, so I think just in being an enthusiastic member of any of these projects, all your friends and connections and the choir I belong to and my sewing group and my book club and everybody hears about it all the time, and of course then they get involved, so they want to support.
That's right. You're sharing the love.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to support your cause or help you with your Mount Kilimanjaro Grouse Grind event or even your Inca Trail event, what's the best way for someone to contact you? Do you have an email or do you have a website for your fundraising?
So there's for MKGG, there's hikemkgg.com, and you can be placed on a team. If you're just a single person or you're 3 people and you want to be part of a team of 7, they will place you on a team. And then in terms of my own event, the Inca Trail in October, the Alzheimer's Society has set up a fundraising page for me, and it's linked to the website is anythingforalzheimers.ca.
And we can connect to you through your name,
Mm-hmm.
Marion
Through
Lowry.
my name, or through Hike the Inca Trail is another way. There's about 5 different categories which will bring it up: sport, challenge, community involvement. There's different ones.
Excellent. Well, Marion, you sound like a very unique individual, maybe a little bit crazy like myself, because we do share something in common. I too have done the Ascent for Alzheimer's, and we'll talk about that at another event. But I think the world needs more Marions, and I think our friends at the Alzheimer's Society will share that thought as well. We hope to follow your progress and all your endeavors, and I hope we get to speak with you again. So thank you very much for being part of the show.
My pleasure, Joanne.
Also, just in some final closing words, what I've learned today from this program and what I hope we've shared with you as well, and we can come away with the fact that the programs and services all offered by the Alzheimer's Society are an integral part of starting this journey of dementia. And our guest, David Brown, I'm going to give you the final words because you learned firsthand how important the services are.
I have indeed, and I want to express on behalf of a lot of people that I sit with and talk with every couple of weeks, thank you for the work and time and energy that goes into keeping the Alzheimer's Society going. We do appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's a life changer that you're supporting.
David Brown, thank you for being our guest today. Marion Lowry, Maria Howard on the phone, the CEO of our Alzheimer's Society of BC, and Michelle McCabe, the manager of programs and services as well. We have the conversation about Alzheimer's disease and other dementias once a month here on Boomer Life. You can see the podcasts on our website. But if you want more information, please visit alzheimerbc.org for more information, or you can call them and get connected to their First Link program as well. I'm Joanne Sutton. This is Boomer Life on CIAL 650.